I'm joined now by Denis O'Brien, serial entrepreneur. You were here in Farmley in 2009. What do you think has happened since to encourage what the aim of this conference is to get the economy back up and running?
I think first of all we've attracted a lot of our leading diaspora back to Ireland and re-engaged them. So we're refueling our diaspora, particularly the leading lights in America and Asia and around the world. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there's a number of really serious projects that have arisen from the Farmley event 2 years ago. You've got John McColgan's new website called Global Irish. You've got the Farmley Fellowships, which is hugely successful in Asia, and you have also the Innovation Centre in San Jose. So you have a number of different initiatives, but I think we're now going to see more initiatives coming out of this weekend. I think these are going to be of a major importance to Ireland over the next 5 years.
Is there anything specific that you'd like to see come from this year's conference?
I think we need to harden maybe 5 or 6 big initiatives and then have other initiatives as well, but we need to focus on maybe 5 or 6 big things and drive them. I think the arts need certainly quite a lot of funding, and we need to make sure that we use the arts as a catalyst, as a carrier into the decision making of boardrooms, particularly in North America and other parts of the world, so that when 50-50 decisions are made about foreign direct investment and locating subsidiaries here in Ireland, that decision goes to Irish companies. We've seen Israel do it very, very successful over the last 10 years. We need to redouble our efforts here, but really use the arts community and fund them to bring the arts even further afield around the world.
How would the arts lead to more investment in Ireland?
It's, there are 80 million people with Irish connections, Irish blood, and they listen to Irish music, many of them. They also, they read Irish literature. They go, the visual arts, performing arts, and it's about actually reconnecting that Irishness with those people, so that when the decisions are made about investing in Ireland, that the key decision makers say, God, Ireland has a connection with me, let's invest in Ireland.
Is this all about the marketing of Ireland? I mean, I know that's very important, but when you have over 14% unemployment, do you not think that people really want to hear in nuts and bolts terms initiatives that could lead to the creation of jobs?
I think there are nuts and bolts things that we can do, but this is really about marketing Ireland as a place to invest in. And if you look at social networks that have all come to here, like Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, they're here because of their connection to Ireland. I'm sure the reason why Google came to Ireland was because of Bono, for example. So the arts has a major role in the marketing of Ireland and also bringing inward foreign direct investment.
Do you think also that things like the corporation tax are just as important in attracting companies here?
Well, I invest around the world. I necessarily don't look at the corporation tax, to be honest with you. Probably that's the fourth thing that you would look at. So it is an important factor. I think the government deserves praise in the way they've stood and defended that, particularly with the Troika. And I think certainly keeping that is a major thing going forward for Ireland.
How do you think the success or otherwise of the Global Irish Economic Forum idea should be measured?
I think you need to look maybe 3 years out, 5 years out and say, well, how did those initiatives develop? How are they implemented? How are they executed on? And there are, hopefully by tomorrow evening, there will be 3 or 4 major themes that are coming out of this conference that people can say, God, I'd love to support that. And I think you have people from, I know the enthusiasm in there for all of these different initiatives. It's just harnessing the various members of the diaspora and the leading lights, in business, in the arts around the world that emanate from Ireland, and how do you actually put them into teams of people to bring these ideas and initiatives forward. So I know your viewers will say, God, it's very woolly on that, but if we end up with 4 or 5 things, serious things to really go forward with, well then that is a major success. You've the whole of the cabinet in there, so the government are incredibly well engaged in making sure this weekend is a really big success for Ireland.
Now, you operate all around the world, specifically in areas around the Caribbean. We're here at a forum where lots of people who are interested in Ireland are all talking to each other about Ireland. Sometimes we maybe get an impression that Ireland is a lot better known than it is, but from your experience out there, what sort of an effect has all of this marketing of Ireland got in terms of identifying Ireland as a place to do business?
Well, first of all, our best marketeers were the missionary movement, believe it or not, men and women from the Catholic Church, from the Church of Ireland, that went all around the world and that have, educated millions and millions of people. So, Ireland's calling card is unique in that way, because the men and women who worked in the missionaries, who still today work in the missionaries, have created an environment where Ireland is really, really well recognised, and there's a really friendly attitude to Ireland. And I think, that now is extended through, obviously through generations of Irish Americans, Irish people living in Australia and Asia and around the world. So, there is that reconnection as such. And, I think Ireland, has done incredibly well in the last 2 years, or 2.5 years, the way we've handled ourselves. We are so far ahead of the Greeks and the rest of Europe. We're 2.5 years ahead of everybody in Europe in reforming our economy, but also bringing fiscal rectitude and doing the right things to restructure and also to rebuild Ireland's reputation overseas.
If there was one thing to come out of this weekend's forum, the most important thing, what would it be for you?
I think, one of the key things here is we need to focus on 4 or 5 universities and properly fund them. We're not funding our major universities properly at the moment. I think Minister Rory Quinn is a reforming minister. He recognises this, the Taoiseach recognises, but we really have to move our universities into the top 30 or 40 universities in the world, which will bring in research money, which will really, help us to build on our knowledge economy. But unless your universities are properly funded, you have a disconnect with the economy and the future of this economy.
And is there a role for the private sector in that funding?
Well, obviously through philanthropy. Through philanthropy, through individuals, but also through corporates as well. People have a major role that have made money in this country to fund, serious work within universities, serious infrastructure, and this is already taking place.
Are you calling on your own fellow successful business people to
many of them are
invest
doing
in
it.
Irish universities?
Many of them, philanthropy is done much quieter here in Ireland than in the US, where there's a lot of fanfare. I think people in Ireland give money, they give it quietly.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.